Everything you need before Deltarune Chapter 5.
Deltarune Chapter 5 is coming out June 24th, and to be
It's already
caught up, you'd have to go through a decade's worth of games, lore, and theories to understand what's happening. So today, I'm recapping everything you need to know before Deltarune Chapter 5. Subscribe if you're enjoying, and let's get crazy and shoot for 5,000 likes before Chapter 5.
Subscribe to this guy.
So to even talk about Deltarune, we first have to talk about Undertale. Undertale was Toby Fox's first video game. Well, I mean, full video game. In it, you control the soul or heart of a human who fell into the underground, with the ultimate goal of escaping to the surface. Along the way, you meet many lovable monster characters, and you can choose to either befriend or kill them. Undertale and Deltarune
I will play Genocide someday in the future,
but in a parallel universe, with similar characters and themes, but with a different overall plot. They're so similar, even the names of the games share the same letters. The main characters from Undertale appear in Deltarune. Toriel is a teacher instead of a caretaker, Alphys is a teacher instead of a scientist, Undyne is a police officer instead of a royal guard. You get the idea. But there's one character that's almost completely absent from both games, Dr. W.D. Gaster. Gaster is, or was, the head royal scientist inside Undertale long before Alphys. He invented the core, the main source of power for the underground. However, he went missing, and on very rare occasions, you'll find Gaster's followers, monochrome copies of other NPCs who give vague whisperings of his nature. They say he fell into his own creation and was shattered across time and space. One is allegedly holding a piece of him, and another says he shouldn't talk about the doctor because it's rude to talk about someone who's listening. Gaster's experiments went horribly wrong, and his very being was broken into a nebulous concept with unknown power, multi-universal knowledge, and potentially massive influence on them. Hell, Gaster's only real appearance is a 1 in 1,000 event to get this door, a monochrome copy of Deltarune's fast travel doors. Inside is a monochrome interior with this weird creature named Mystery Man, who simply disappears when interacting with him. That, or this other unused room with this white blob that says redacted in lowercase wingdings font. We only know Gaster's theme song from this other incredibly rare room called the Sound Test Room, containing Gaster's theme, an ominous piano song named Music ST Hymn in the files. Hymn being a recurring phrase that refers to Gaster. Gaster's only known record of speaking is inside an unused room from Undertale, whose only purpose is to
Wait, hold on. So this whole Gaster stuff, like, how does it relate to Deltarune? I don't remember this character, and he keeps saying that it's like an unused room or unused something. So do you not see this guy in Undertale or what? Like, I want to understand why this guy is so important.
Play lab entry 17, with the only sound being this. It will come back later. The text log, which is written in Wingding's font and in all caps, details the doctor's experiment with darkness, getting dark, darker, yet darker, a phrase repeated in Deltarune. The entry ends with the doctor asking, "What do you two think?" with the two people in question being the center of debate for over a decade now, with the most prominent answer is that Gaster was referring to Sans and
Gaster's theme plays by the door that goes underground, placed in Deltarune. Slow down, it could be his lab. So his theme is playing... Oh, his theme is in Deltarune. That's why he's connected.
Papyrus, with the three being related. Hear me out. All three of them have the special attribute of using a Windows-based font in their dialogue. Papyrus, Comic Sans, and Wingdings, likely being what WD in Gaster's name stands for. Sans has a unique attack using this laser beam, which is named Gaster Blaster in the files. Sans himself is a giant mystery, teleporting, knowing about parallel universes, manipulating the battle system itself to kill you, and Sans' door to his room is literally a copy of the Deltarune fast travel door and fire effect. He's the only enemy in Undertale to dodge, which is a common attribute to Deltarune enemies. And Sans is the only character who bleeds in Undertale, while bleeding seems to be common.
Okay, hold on. This is a little bit of a spoiler for me because I haven't played Genocide. but hopefully he doesn't go way too into the genocide stuff.
Place for Lighteners as Susie bleeds in Chapter 4. He also has his own lab in his house, containing blueprints with strange handwriting with a giant, broken, conspicuously hidden machine, alongside a picture with Sans and a bunch of people you don't recognize. All I'm saying is that Gaster is a giant mystery that appears in both games, and Sans is just as questionable. You don't really need much else from Undertale outside of just playing it. But to get to the real nitty-gritty of Deltarune, you will need this incredibly rare and or hidden information from Undertale. Now, onto Deltarune. Deltarune begins in a
So that was just an explanation of Gaster, because he's connected to Deltarune. Now we're going to go to the Deltarune recap. I believe he's going to start from chapters 1 and then go to chapter 4.
Chrome black and green menu. Choosing a file spawns a human soul heart with a voice telling you to customize your human. The voice talks like Gaster. Short phrases, all caps text, and the song playing is called Another Hymn, like Gaster's theme, named ST_hymn, and has the same melody as Gaster's theme.
That makes sense now.
So this is probably Gaster creating a human soul for you to control, or Gaster is literally ripping the soul from someone to let you control it. You give a bunch of weird attributes, name the creature, then give your own name, then everything suddenly goes black, as a voice tells you that your creation is discarded, and that no one can choose who they are in this world. Note that this voice uses a different font, doesn't speak in all caps, and talks with an overall different tone than the voice before, implying that this is a different voice that is ripping you out of the character creator and placing you in control of Chris, who you wake up as. So all of that context was necessary to explain that absolute head scratcher of an opening, which the game leads you to believe is pointless, as your creation is discarded. However, as I've showcased in another video, your choices here are not actually deleted and are saved thousands of lines deep into your save file, implying your creation here will come back later. Basically, Gaster is part of both Undertale and Deltarune's universe. His influence is unknown but seemingly large, as he can transcend realities, modify humans on a whim, and create and or modify human souls, the most powerful thing from either universe. And whatever snapped you out of the character creator was likely not him. Regardless of what took you out of it, that human you made is 1000% coming back, probably in chapter 6 or 7. This is more than Chekhov's gun. This is Chekhov's tank. And if all the shit was completely pointless, I hope that tank fucking runs me over and squashes me into a red mist. The rest of the game is pretty self-explanatory, but if you've played the chapters as they came out, it's either been a year, 5 years, or 8 years since you've played or seen someone play them. So let's start at the beginning. Chris gets woken up.
Yep. Well, so technically it's only been like 1 year for me, but because I played the chapters back to back, everything's jumbled. Like all the lore is pretty jumbled, and I also didn't watch any like lore videos or explanation videos. So that's why I need this recap video.
By their mom, flushes the toilet. Toriel reveals that Azriel is your brother who's away for college and is coming home at the end of the week. Then we leave for school. In class, we get assigned a group project, unable to find a partner until Susie the bully slams into the room. The teacher ran out of chalk, so we're ordered to get some from the closet with the brute. Well, she was actually eating it and threatens to eat us before realizing our mom would be upsetty spaghetti about it. Not that it matters, because Susie literally tells us that your choices don't matter. Not wanting to make a baddie sad, she lets us go and we reach the closet. But something is very wrong with it.
This is where we go to the dark world.
Darker than dark. We travel inside, get locked in, and then fall down like the song Fallen Down from hit game Undertale. We wake up, realize we're blue, wander around, then find Susie, who's now pink instead of purple. Before we can question it, a fat little chud attacks us. After barely escaping, we find an empty town, home only to a hooded man with a long tail, perhaps even Undertale. He speaks of the legend of Deltarune, a prophecy of two realms, the light world where we are from and the dark world where these creatures are from.
Man, this is bringing back so many memories. It's so awesome seeing a recap.
Come from the light into the dark to restore balance between the two worlds, and if one side were to overpower the other, a great calamity would destroy them both. So, 3 heroes will save the world: a human, a monster, and a prince from the dark. Susie doesn't give a fuck, but is forced to when the Chungus from earlier shows up to fight us.
I love that dude.
We learn his name is
What was this guy's name again? I forgot, but I really like this guy.
Lancer, and he's trying to be evil, but he's really bad at it, and we beat the brakes off of him. The prince then returns to reveal himself as a
Lancer, thank you.
fruity little goat man named Ralsei. Susie bails, we hug Ralsei, and then set off to the Great Forest to the east. Through the door, we enter a dark world that we have to close using Chris's soul to restore balance between light and dark. It's worth noting that dark worlds are alternate versions of reality, where the real world gets twisted into a bizarre fantasy world. So the abandoned classroom full of toys is turned into a sprawling field with living creatures based on the objects inside. So in reality, we're basically going from the main storage closet and moving to the abandoned classroom to the right. From what we know now, the dark fountains are being made by this being called the Roaring Knight, an agent of chaos who seeks to
I don't remember if I've ever beaten the Roaring Knight. I remember it was super hard. Don't remember which chapter it was from, but I just remember one of the secret bosses was also this guy, right? The Roaring Knight, and it was really hard. I can't remember if I've actually beaten him.
Expand the domain of darkness with unfathomable power, who will absolutely rip us a new one later. Through the great door and the forest within, we encounter many strange inhabitants, including an Italian chef who gives us cake.
It was from chapter 3. Man, yeah, I really need this recap video. Because I don't remember which chapter was which.
A hammer-headed man who can fix anything, and a tattered old shopkeeper named Sham. Along the way, we continually try to recruit Susie, who repeatedly bails on us and forges her own path, culminating in the bully officially ditching us and joining Lancer as a bad guy. They accomplish a lot together, including getting lost, sitting on their ass, selling cookies, and making some poop from a butt. After we smack the tar out of them, they finally get their act together. But only briefly, as Lancer sees the castle in the distance, then hauls ass towards it. We follow suit, chasing straight after the Spade Lancer before getting captured by Diamond guys who flush us into their full house. We get thrown into the
prison.
Dungeon,
I remember this too.
Susie get out of her cell. Once outside, we get a text prompt to order Susie to go left or right, and picking either makes her freaked out and she does whatever she wants. So we attempted to command her remotely using her soul influence, and she just says nah and does her own thing. It's short-lived, as she overhears Lancer telling the guards to keep the gang trapped in here forever. Susie then starts a battle with Lancer in a completely automated sequence where the player has no control. She damn near kills him, withing to spare his life. Neither wanted to kill each other, and Lancer wanted the gang locked away so they wouldn't have to fight his father, the king. Susie promises not to hurt him, and we escape. And we have a heart-to-heart where Susie promises to be good and stay with us. With Susie back in the party, we head back to Sham, who gives us a key and tells us a jester is locked away deep inside the castle, who we fight in a very hard battle.
Oh my goodness, I remember struggling with this jester.
The clown gives us a shadow crystal, a strange key item that will show the light world equivalent of your location. Knowing of his reality, the clown went crazy and got locked away. He was aware of his freedom he didn't have, but he got locked away and made his own. Sham tells us he can't do anything with one crystal, but he can make something special if you collect 5 of them. Each crystal held
Took me 16 tries to defeat Jevil. I don't remember how many tries it took me, but it was so hard.
By a secret, super hard boss from each chapter. On our way back, we accidentally encountered this room here, an empty room with a single tree inside. The game tells us there's a man behind the tree who gives you an egg, another key item that can't be discarded even when using it. These are also encountered once per chapter, and will become far more important later on. If you want a full rundown, watch my video on what the eggs mean, but for this video, I'll go over the very bare minimum for them. One more thing, we have a cell phone, but the phone doesn't work at all inside the dark world. When using it, it plays this audio. If you'll remember, this is the exact same audio from entry 17, the one written by Gaster. So we return to the castle.
Am I crazy? I didn't hear a single audio. Maybe it got muted because of copyright or something.
Meet the head puzzle maker rules card, get stumped,
oh my goodness, this dude.
Solve it, then move on to the final room, coming face to face with the Chaos King, who threatens to kill his own son to beat you. Lancer escapes, and we finally fight the king, where we absolutely lay belt to ass. Ralsei's dumbass heals the king.
Toby Fox's music isn't copyrighted. It is. Every single time I stream Undertale or Deltarune, my streams get copyrighted because of something. It sucks.
To be nice, the king damn near kills us in return, and depending on how nice you were, either the entire kingdom storms the castle and takes the king away, or Ralsei has to step in.
I thought it wasn't. So Toby Fox doesn't want it to be copyrighted, but because it's so popular, the publisher company or whatever copyrighted it, and it kind of sucks when you stream it or if you make a YouTube video with the songs, because sometimes they will claim it.
And put the king to sleep. Either way, Ralsei takes his hat off, he was actually white the whole time, and we seal the dark fountain and reach the light world once more. Mom calls, who is stunned that your weird ass made a friend, and we head home. Along the way, we see our friend Noelle in the hospital with her dad who's dying. We go to the graveyard to see all the currently dead people, including Gerson, who you will remember as a shopkeeper from Undertale. To the far south, you'll see this path in the woods with an incredibly conspicuous shelter at the end with a locked door. All the music goes quiet, and the only sound is this weird droning ambience, speeded up and is the sound from entry 17, but slowed down by 666%. Very, very weird stuff. We say hi to Sans,
I couldn't hear anything,
but we don't see Papyrus. Asgore is in this game too. He's our dad, and his flower shop is failing miserably. His back room has a bunch of flowers inside capsules, much like the souls from Undertale. And Chapter 5 is basically confirmed to take place inside this flower shop. So these conspicuous ass flowers will definitely show up. We go home, go to bed, wake up at 3 a.m., and rip our heart out. Without their soul, Chris has agency over themselves again, but must put their soul back or else they will die. So we hit a creepy pasta pose with a knife before ending the chapter. Chapter 2 begins.
Alright, so that was Chapter 1 recap. A lot of things happened. Let's see what happened in Chapter 2.
We used our freedom to eat every last bit of Toriel's pie, among other things, and go to school, where we pass out in class, get reminded of our group projects that we hella won't do, and visit Castletown in the closet, where Ralsei instructs us to return to the light world, go to the rights to the classroom, and bring all the toys and objects back to Castletown. How does Ralsei have knowledge of the light world despite not being able to go outside the dark world? Who the fuck knows? He knows way too much. Anyway, all these silly little guys from Chapter 1 are in our town, named after our creator name from the intro. How did they know our creator name? Again, who fucking knows? Lancer and Rules Card insert themselves inside us to join us. We head to the computer lab to do our project, discovering
oh my goodness, that was so funny. I remember that.
Inside, and jump in. Ralsei also warps in from the school to the computer lab. How? Twink magic. I don't know, bro. I'm 4 chapters in and I still don't know. Anyway, we discover our classmate Noelle is trapped inside the dark world with us and is captured by the queen. Much funnier than the king, but equally as evil. So we gotta save Noelle. And along the way, we meet some dickheads. Susie learns how to emote, forces Ralsei to emote, and we go on a roller coaster, where we meet Birdly, our other classmate, who is not as smart as Noelle and way more annoying.
I love Birdly.
So we slam him out, Susie takes a tumble, Ralsei heals her, and Susie gets a fixation on becoming a healer. We reach the city, Susie steals Ralsei from us, and we're left all alone. But not for long, as we find Noelle and rescue her from seeing right up Queen's hoo-ha. Crizel makes their way through the city, Birdly makes some bullshit, we beat up a homeless man in an alley, and we go into another alley
I think Chapter 2 might be my favorite because it was just so funny.
Find another tree room with a man who gives you another egg. A bluebird blocks our path, we beat him, and we get captured by the queen, where we deploy Lancer to escape prison. Birdly trauma dumps about LARPing as a smart person because he won a spelling contest against Noelle, who broke down and cried at having to spell out December, the name of her sister, who's missing and probably dead. So Birdly accepts he's dumb as bricks, Lancer turns into stone, and Ralsei explains that Darkeners cannot survive outside their own dark world for very long, or they turn into a statue. But the Castletown is so dark that anyone from anywhere will be okay inside it. Shenanigans ensue, we get whipped by this big dommy 7'7" Catwoman, and go to the basement by ourselves, where we see this weird creepy face with yellow and pink eyes. Something tells me it will be important later. Anyway, after exploring, Spamton comes back from earlier in a mech suit, and we slime him the fuck out. getting another shadow crystal. After beating the queen's ass, she tells us that any lightener can make their own dark fountain if they believe hard enough, so she tries to get Noelle to do it. Noelle, with a family that's either dead, dying, or dead inside, wants to stay inside Fantasyland where she can cast spells and have fun. So does the rest of the fun gang, but before they can open up another dark fountain, perchance, Ralsei shuts that shit down, getting dead serious and telling us of the Roaring, a cataclysmic event that will happen if the dark overpowers the light. If a dark fountain is opened inside of a dark world, it'll create a monster as tall as the mountains, and both worlds will be doomed. So all is well, we seal the dark fountain, Noelle and Birdley are none the wiser, Asgore embarrasses himself in front of Fine Shit, we don't see Papyrus again, and we go home. Toriel, still amazed at Chris having any friends at all, happily lets Susie spend the night. Chris goes to the turlet, but before we can drop a mean brown, we rip our heart out, locking us under the sink, where Chris hops out the window and does God knows what off screen. We fall asleep, Toriel calls the police because her tires were slashed, and 3 a.m. strikes once again, where Chris opens a dark fountain inside their own living room.
Yeah, I remember that.
Credits roll. Now on to chapter 3.
Wait, that felt pretty fast for a chapter 2. I mean, yeah, that chapter 2 felt pretty fast.
Which, mind you, had a 4-year gap between them. So the hype for chapter 3 was unimaginable. We wake up, walk
Chapter
a bit,
3 was fun.
Ralsei is somehow across town and inside her house, and Susie invites Ralsei to the festival coming up in chapter 5. But sadly, Ralsei declines, telling us that all the Darkeners are merely regular lifeless objects twisted by the lens of darkness. In reality, Lancer is a regular playing card. Queen is a laptop. They're all manifestations from real-life objects come to life, including Ralsei. Also, that weird face from the basement shows up again. But before we can get too sad about Ralsei being fake, we get interrupted by Tenna, our living room TV come to life, trying to get us onto his game show. Susie says fuck that, Tenna gets all sad and flaccid, and Ralsei convinces Susie to dick around here to cheer up a bit, and we get to gaming. We make a couple have a divorce, push Ralsei around, and do some masterful chefing, concluding round 1 of 2. Most people playing this chapter went, oh fuck, there's another round. Well, good news, there's not 2 rounds, there's technically 5 if we're doing the secret route. And I kicked ass in board 1, so I'm going backstage to play with myself. We load.
If I remember correctly, I think chapter 3 was the only one where I didn't do the secret boss because I missed something and I couldn't go back. I think that's what happened, if I remember correctly.
Up the game, kill everyone, and get the ice key. After playing with ourselves, we go to board 2. Rules card tries to get into a bisexual polycule. We have a kick-ass rock-off challenge,
the Guitar
and
Hero
Tenna
thing was
reveals
fun.
There's another fucking round. Well, I'm not doing that, so I once again go backstage, start slaughtering perchance, and find
there were 2 secret bosses? Okay, I probably missed one then.
the secret ice palace to the north. Once inside, I'm joined by a figure in a white robe. We command them to use their ice magic to freeze and kill all the enemies, including this blue bird that
I don't think I did this. Was this the secret? I don't remember seeing any of these like ice abilities.
blocks their path that we freeze. We follow the white robe to find a door where the ice key was used up, and she was used up, and
It was part of the secret. Got it. Yeah, so I didn't do this one.
we enter, finding the shelter key before Chris is used up, and the screen cuts to black. After being used in the back room, we return to the lobby, where we bail on Tenna and venture out into the cold place, where we find Toriel is locked inside a capsule. We get captured,
I remember
Tenna
that.
tries to keep us locked forever, we escape, we go through some shenanigans, then reach the lobby again, completely frozen over. Well, with everyone dead, might as well do
The Roaring Knight was the secret boss, and the Shadow Mantle was the one hiding behind the video game. And then the Shadow Mantle is the thing that helped you during the Roaring Knight boss, right? Because I remember I tried fighting the Roaring Knight, and people were saying that I needed like a mantle or something. I think that was the thing that I needed to make it the boss fight easier.
some gambling. We throw away our life savings to the gacha machine, but I accidentally deposited 1225 points, where everything goes silent. 1225 being December 25th when read as a calendar date.
My birthday?
So after inputting the December number, the gacha machine opens and we go inside, finding a giant labyrinth of pathways leading to a tiny blue gacha machine, giving us a tiny black triangle that slips through your hand, and we can't find it anymore, referencing December going missing. It's widely
I don't remember if I did this.
thought that the black triangle is supposed to be a guitar pick, as Des played guitar, wrote her own songs, including the one we played earlier, and when going to deltarune.com/Des, we see a guitar that plays her theme song. After losing her guitar pick, we return to the lobby, where the gacha machine is gone. But there's an item under the machine called a trip ticket. Going back to this area, we can find these enemies with a special action. Holding left while hovering over Crocon X will have your soul skedaddle off screen, and you get warped into this weird Game Boy area by yourself, populated by
Yeah, I don't remember any of this, so I guess I didn't do this.
cards lost deep inside Chris's couch. Lots of flavor text, but most important is this one, who says the copies are monochrome. Monochrome meaning using only one color, but different shades of that color. So this area, the Gaster followers, and the Mystery Man are all monochrome copies. There's also another tree with a man behind it who gives you another egg. So after a whole bunch of bullshit, we play through the final game in the back.
This was a secret place that gives you the egg? Man, so if I miss some of these eggs, does that mean I have to go back and play the chapters? Because I feel like the eggs are going to be really important for the ending of the game.
Backstage, where we have to kill our teammates. We murder some more, discover Tenna's game character lamenting, slam him out, and we find a game version of the town shelter. The program literally forces you to walk away, as if Chris themselves is using their free will to try and get you away from the bunker. Once inside, we finally encounter
Probably, we don't know yet. Okay, well, if I do need the eggs in the future, then I'll probably replay some of the chapters.
the boss of the games, the Shadow Mantle. After a long, arduous battle, the mantle puts itself in a chest, too high up to reach. Well, we gotta literally walk Chris's game sprite off the screen and can even attack Chris using the game version of Chris outside the game. Even weirder, the real Chris can literally walk onto the TV and inside to reach the chest, acquiring the Shadow Mantle, an incredibly powerful armor piece. After acquiring everything, we have to face Tenna, desperate to hold our attention as he watched everyone around him abandon him. First Des, then the rest of the holidays, then Asgore, then Azriel, then Chris, and then finally Toriel. So we gotta fight our traumatized TV with abandonment issues. After beating his ass, he lets Toriel go, and all is well. Oh.
Nope.
Yeah, so the Roaring Knight shows up to steal Toriel, but we put up a fantastic fight, resulting in two different cutscenes.
This was so
hard. The first being
hard.
that we lose and progress as normal, or we win against it. Susie damages its sword, which gives us another Shadow Crystal. Afterwards, Susie gets cocky and gets fucking obliterated by the sword slash. So does Relze. For Chris, the Knight makes them get on their knees and they surrender.
This was
I just
traumatizing.
know Chris's evil ass is totally in cahoots with the Knight, and they probably swooned their friends too. But that's just speculation. Not that it matters, because no matter what you do, you get the same result. The Knight fails at capturing Toriel. Undyne, the police officer, shows up to respond to the Slash Tire call from earlier, but gets kidnapped by the Knight and taken to the bunker south of town. The bunker is locked and Susie gives up, but Chris hangs out, and the door unlocks for them. Yeah, Chris is absolutely working with the Knight, no question. Oh, and we still don't see Papyrus. On to chapter 4.
Wow. Okay, so chapter 3 had a bunch of stuff that I didn't get to do. I'm so glad I got to watch this recap video because we learned a couple new stuff. Now let's see chapter 4.
We wake up, go to church, learn we gotta steal a key to the bunker from the mayor, who is Noelle's mom.
Susie.
So we go to Noelle's house, Yuri happens, Chris rips out their soul to stop us looking at Des's guitar,
And then we
which
go
has
into
the
the
code for
vents.
the shelter. Inside Noelle's basement, you hear the audio from the shelter, which again is the entry 17 audio slowed down. You also find the mayor's room, which has a very conspicuous sword that can very easily be the sword of the Knight. Asgore is also inside, who works as a maid for the mayor, since his flower shop is fucking failing. Asgore is talking to himself and reveals that he has a black shard. It might not be a shadow crystal because they are invisible outside of the shadow they cast. The black shard is a completely different item that is given when breaking a piece off of the Knight's sword that is used as a weapon. Most likely, he is going to use the black shard to find December Holiday. Hear me out. One of the big reasons that Asgore and Toriel broke up was that Asgore got laid off from the police force, which was revealed back in Chapter 2 on a board in the police station. It's widely believed that Asgore was either responsible for Dess's disappearance or was unable to find her, leading him to either resign or get fired from being police chief. He began selling flowers instead, but was really bad at it, which was a big factor in Toriel and Asgore breaking up. And Asgore having a black shard leads people to believe that Asgore is still trying to find Des to get his job back, prove himself to Toriel that he's worth it, and put his family and friendships back together. So the mayor is very sus, and Asgore is doing some S-tier foreshadowing. Beyond that, after some shenanigans, we call the knight on her phone, and 5 seconds later, Carol shows up, who kicks Susie the fuck out her house and addresses Chris directly to say you are always welcome, with the you written in all red, like she's talking to you, the person, not you, the Chris. Very, very weird, very sus of Carol to show up 3 seconds after Chris calls the knight, but I digress. We head to church to atone for having Yuri and discover the church has been turned into a dark world. So we jump inside, the knight kicks Artukus, Chris damn near dies, Susie can't heal for shit, Ralsei shows up and heal mogs Susie, and she feels like crap about it.
That'll be Ralsei for healing.
We see many prophecy panels, glass tablets that outline what happened in the prophecy, something that is guaranteed to happen and cannot be changed, as evidenced by everything in the prophecy happening so far, including dumb shit like how Lancer talks or Jockington growing a beard. We get lost in the dark where we find this old man. The old man tells us to toughen up and get good with healing, and we end up fighting the old man in his study in an epic 1v1 between him and Susie, with Susie learning how to be a badass healer.
I don't know why I struggled with that.
Off that old fart, we encounter the knight, who hightails it out of the dark world. We seal the fountain and end up in the church lobby, where a lock keeps us from the main area. By exploring, we find an office with this weird snow globe and a desk. The snow globe has a hammer with a bunch of dust floating around, and Susie realizes it's actually dust from monsters dying, and the old man was dead the whole time, brought back to life through the darkness. But why the hell were his remains inside a desk? Was it just a really weird memento, or was his son Alvin, the priest, trying to resurrect him through this method? To seek advice, Susie opens her own dark world, this one weird and twisted compared to the previous. After narrowly escaping death, we find this long corridor of windows, with one of them having a different pattern. Going inside reveals this room with a prophecy saying roots with a small house, and an NPC that says a bunch of words scrambled up. Rearranging them makes this phrase: lost where the forest would grow, the children followed the pointed tail. Theorized to mean a long time ago, Chris, Noel, and their siblings ventured into the woods and encountered something that led Des to going missing, among other things. Those other things aren't far away, as you find another secret room that looks like a hospital. Chris goes to art therapy, where a man has Chris draw what they saw behind the tree that we've seen in all the other egg rooms. Their sketches overlap and distort, eventually becoming a monochrome smear with a tree painted on top. Afterwards, you find another egg and wash your hands, but you can never fully wash it away. This whole time, the tree in these egg rooms were a cover.
I'm starting to think that I've never actually gotten a single egg. Maybe the first one, but not the other chapters.
For what Chris saw all those years ago, buried deep in their psyche. Most likely, we'll finally learn what that man behind the tree was when we get all the eggs. After reminding ourselves of our trauma once again, we go through some shenanigans and discover the old man is not alive in this dark world, as it requires certain conditions to bring people back. So that was a bust. We head out, seal the fountain, and get the code for the lobby and enter that dark world. Now, 3 dark worlds deep, we finally face the knight, who nearly kills us in pursuit, but we persevere with the power of friendship. The knight does not respect our bond, so it opens a dark fountain inside a dark fountain, starting the roaring by creating a giant titan.
This was
After
cool.
climbing it, we face it head on, using our overwhelming soul power to break its shields, but the titan proves to be too much for us, as it can always out-heal us. We're all out of hope until Gerson shows up to help out, and we blow his head schmoove off. Unable to kill it from the outside, Susie slam dunks us both inside the Titan, and we atomize it from the inside. But our happy ending is soured by Susie discovering the ending of the prophecy, which is so bad, Susie breaks the
Right, I forgot about the prophecy. I think it was like a sacrificial prophecy or something.
The panel for it and refuses to believe it could ever come true. Rose knew the whole time, which is why he's always so dismissive of himself. He knows something terrible will happen, so his only purpose is to aid others. His own existence means nothing, knowing what will happen at the end of the prophecy. Given how badly that everyone reacts to it, the most likely options for the calamity are Susie.
I think the final panel was about Susie dying. Yeah, it was something like that. It was something where, like, something happens to Susie, if I remember correctly. I don't remember the exact prophecy words, but I remember it was being sad.
Dies, or we have to steal the Castletown Dark Fountain, effectively killing every Darkener we've met and saved so far, including Rose, Lancer, and everyone else. So after some heavy emotions, we finally seal off all the church dark fountains and go home. The song here is a remix of a song from Undertale called It's Raining Somewhere Else, used for Sans being sad. And in this game, the song is called The Place It Rained, with identical composition and instruments, fueling the theory that Sans is from Deltarune's reality and moved to the Undertale reality, likely as a result of what happened at the end of Deltarune, as the ending is either tragic by prophecy, or what we have to do to alter it will be so extreme it will be as bad or even worse. I'll get onto the even worse part in a minute, but finishing off chapter 4 here, we go home, discover Sans and Toriel boogieing in the living room.
Funny.
Susie dips the fuck out, and we head to bed. I love that one. Where we hear Sans bone her mom. Once the boning is done, the knight FaceTimes us to get the fuck back up, and we get busy, while Susie says we're not gonna let that happen, right? And that's the end of the main story, but Toby is a fucking liar because the one ending thing on the Steam page is absolute malarkey. The other ending is the weird route, a secret, more sinister way to play chapter.
I didn't do the weird route. I just did like a kind of like the pacifist route where you just talk to people instead of fight them. I don't know if there's anything like really different with the weird route, so let's see what this guy says.
Chapter 2 and 4 with very scary ramifications. So for the weird route, we begin at chapter 2, where we first get to play with Noelle. You must force Noelle to use her ice spell to freeze enemies. Doing so kills them and makes her stronger. You must do this to every single enemy in the city, going out of your way to make sure every single enemy is dead. Eventually.
Interesting. So instead of like a genocide thing, this is a freezing thing, which ends up killing them.
You meet Spamton, who sells you an armor piece called the Thorn Ring, an item that hurts her to wear and lets her cast a spell called Snowgrave, with only one word to describe it: fatal. We get to test it on Birdly, a blue bird that blocks our path. Instead of just beating him up a bit, we use Snowgrave on him, locking him in ice and presumably killing him. Taking this route skips most of the goofy shit from the Queen's mansion, as Spamton takes it over. After exploring the now infested rooms, we find the Queen, who gave the fuck up but lets us seal the Dark Fountain, but not without facing Spamton Neo by ourselves. After getting Spamton to low health, he shields up, immune to your attacks. Unable to kill him with Chris, we summon Noelle, who turns him into a popsicle. We return to the light world.
Yo, the weird route is insane. It's so different.
Birdly is unresponsive in the library, and we progress as normal, completing chapter 2 and the whole of chapter 3 identically to the normal route. Going to chapter 4, we see that Birdly is in a coma, but...
Wait, so, I thought... Oh, wait, no. We saw Birdly die in the dark world, but this is the real world.
Still breathing.
The light world.
The meat of the weird route is inside Noelle's house, where Chris and Noelle can be alone in her room. Chris reveals that everything in the dark world was real. We eventually force Chris upon her, making Chris equip Noelle by forcing the Thorn Ring on her, ending with this weird red animation. There's a few more weird moments in chapter 4, but the biggest is at the end, where instead of getting called by the knight, Chris is called by Carol, who says Noelle would love to go to the festival with you, completely betraying Noelle's lust for Susie and effectively forcing Noelle to like you enough to take you to the festival over the girl she loves, either out of fear or other reasons.
That's insane.
Afterwards, everything goes black with a tiny red square fades in. using the same red color as our soul. So the leading theory is that by equipping Noelle, we are basically inserting a piece of our soul inside of her, with the ultimate goal of completely controlling both Chris and Noelle. For what purpose?
What?
Remember that game part of chapter 3 where we freeze everyone? Well, it lines up with the weird route perfectly. We freeze everyone to get stronger, a bird blocks our path, and we gotta freeze him too, culminating in us using Noelle to get through an obstacle, with the ultimate goal of using Chris as well to achieve an even greater task. So Chris is a puppet and is trying to make Noelle one too, as a result of our meddling.
Okay.
Hopefully, this recapped the story and all the little important details pretty well. I glossed over a lot of stuff to fit everything relevant inside, but as always, play through the game if you want absolutely everything. Watch my other videos on some theories, both good and bad, and like and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you to Izzy Star, Chris Griffin.
W recap. Go subscribe and like this video, guys. That was really good. I got to remember some of the stuff that I did in chapters 1 to 4. And also, there was some stuff that I didn't do, which was nice to see what I missed.